Hello and welcome to the show. So, I know Saturday is meant to be review day, however we're going to change things up a little bit. And rather than just review one car, we're going to do sort of a rivalry thing. We're going to look at some famous competitors and kind of compare them and see which one comes out on top. And we're going to start with the Battle of the Road legal rally cars. That is the Mitsubishi Evos and the Subaru Imprezas. Now, this is the latest creation from Mitsubishi. This is the Evo 10. And I have to say, it is probably one of the best looking cars that we have here. I do like the Evo 10s. They are very good looking cars. Statistic wise, it does, where's my notes gone? 0 to 60 in 5 seconds, which is pretty respectable. Top speed of 157, 305 horsepower and weighs 3,400 pounds. They're all pretty good stats when you consider this is, what is this? This is a sort of a high-ish B-class car. It's even not bad for the money. They're 30,000 credits, which is pretty good value, pretty good specifications for that sort of car. Now, the problem comes, and it kind of gets to the corners, this isn't a terrible handling car. I'm going to start by saying that. It's not an awful car. It's just not quite as good as I would like. It's sort of, it feels like it's quite heavy. It feels quite unresponsive through the corners. It is four-wheel drive, and I know I complain quite a bit about four-wheel drive cars. There isn't too much understeering. This is not really powerful enough to have loads of understeer, but it's just not quite as good handling, and that's a real problem when you compare it to this. This is the Subaru Impreza. This is the 2008 one. This is the same year as the Evo 10, I believe, or very close. The problem is that this car is very good handling. It really quite surprised me actually just how good this car is. Now, it is a slightly smaller car, sort of lengthwise. However, the specifications are actually identical. Forza reckons that this Subaru Impreza has identical specifications to the Evo 10, down to power, weight, everything is exactly the same. This has like 0.5 of a mile an hour faster top speed, and that's it. I'm not sure if that has how it works in real life. I really don't. I should have probably researched that on Google, but yeah, this car is much better handling though. It feels a lot lighter, it feels a lot sharper, and yes, it is still four-wheel drive. Yes, understeer will creep in a little bit when you push it, as you see me sort of wandering towards the edge of the track there, but it feels a lot better than the Evo 10. Now, of course, there are slightly faster versions of these cars. Slightly, I think Evo 8s and Evo 9s are a little bit quicker than the Evo 10, and some of the older Imprezas are quicker than that one there. However, none of them are the ones that I would have. If I was having an Evo, this is the one which I would have. This is the Evo 6. Now, the reason why I'd have this one is because I sort of grew up watching rallying, and I kind of remember the big battles between Mitsubishi and Subaru, and like Colin McRae and Tommy Mäkinen, and I just like this Evo 6. I like the look of the Evo 6. It reminds me of all the rallying that I used to watch. It's also pretty damn cheap on Forza. 12,000 credits is pretty good value when you consider this car, was it 0 to 60, 4.4 seconds. That's pretty fast. Top speed 153. It's got 280 horsepower, weighs 2,800 pounds, so it's not quite as powerful as the modern day cars, but it is lighter, and it's actually quicker to 60. This is a pretty good handling car as well. I just don't think it's quite as good as the 2008 Impreza, but it handles quite a bit better than the Evo 10. Again, four-wheel drive, yes, it will understeer a little bit, but it's quite fun to drive, it's quite fun to throw about. 12,000 credits is really a very good price for this car, I have to say. This is by far the best sort of value car that we have here. If I was having an Impreza though, this is the one which I would have. This is the Subaru Impreza 22B. It is the most expensive car here. It's at 35,000 credits, only 6,000 more than the Evo 10, but it is quite a lot of money for what it is. However, it is a very good handling car. You could almost forget that it's four-wheel drive, even if I do kind of miss the corner a little bit there. Ignore my terrible driving. You could almost forget that this thing is four-wheel drive. It is very good fun to drive. You can sort of throw it about corners. There is a tiny bit of understeer. When you really push it, there is a little bit of understeer, but it's perfectly manageable, and it is by far the most fun car to drive. Specifications on this are very similar to the Evo 6. I think Forza has been a little bit cheaty here, because it is very similar. 0 to 60 is 4.7. The top speed 153 miles an hour, again identical times. It's slightly less horsepower but slightly lower weight, so they basically work out very similar. It is a lot of money. If you're looking for the best handling car of the lot, best driving car of the lot, I would go for this, because this is really a very good car. As I say that, I kind of fall off the road there. Ignore that. For value, I would go for the Evo 6 for value for money, because it is what is it? It's almost 20,000, it's actually more than 20,000 less than the 22B. However, of course, it is now time to hand the cars over to the Stig. Now, the 2008 Impreza has already been around our track. It went around our track a long time ago, one of our very early episodes, so that time is already on the leaderboard. The Evo 10 was driven around earlier as well, so we have these two. We're going to compare them, and hopefully the video synced up alright, because my computer is being a nightmare. Now, expectation-wise, unfortunately, B-class cars are going to go at the bottom of our leaderboard, because they're just not going to be as fast as the well, all the supercars that we have. However, it will be interesting comparing them all to each other. Stig is pushing that Evo 6 very, very hard. As you can see there, he dumped a wheel over the grass. As they come up towards Chicago, things are looking very, very even between these two cars. Now, as I said, PI varies. I think it's about between 457, I think it's the Evo 6 or very near that, and about 480 something is the 2008 Impreza. It's a very, very small window of that sort of difference from PI. Now, if you aren't familiar with Forza, PI is performance index. It's Forza's way of rating the cars. Higher PI generally means a faster car. As you can see, both the cars are coming through Hammerhead there. They're still looking incredibly even. I have to say, these two are, excuse me, while I just sort of slightly die, coming up towards follow through. I remember the names of these corners. Honestly, both cars were flat out through there. It wasn't the easiest time getting them through there from the look of some of Stig's practice, but they are flat out. And again, through the tyre wall, pretty quick. I have to say, they're about 111, I think it was, or around that sort of speed, which isn't bad considering these are B-class cars. Second to last corner, the Evo almost looked like it was going to have a slide there, and then it's up around the last corner, and there we are. It is across the line, and then it's very, very close between these two. Sorry about the Evo clip there, just kind of ended. However, we have the lap time, so we're going to see how they compare. So, the Subaru Impreza, the 2008 one, is still the fastest of the lot, which doesn't really surprise me, because it is slightly more powerful and quite a very good handling car. The 22B, though, is 9/10 of a second slower. It's a fraction faster than the Evo 6, and the Evo 10 is way, way down there in 46th. This surprised me, not the order so much. I wasn't surprised that the Imprezas were faster than the Evos, because the Imprezas just drive a little bit nicer. I am surprised by how much faster the 2008 Impreza is, because that is a very big margin. And I'm surprised how slow the Evo 10 is. I mean, he's behind a Dodge Charger there. Personally, as I said, I think I would still have the Evo 6. I'm sorry, I love the way the Evo 6 looks. The 22B is a better car, but it costs quite a lot more. I don't think it's quite 20,000 credits, or more than 20,000 credits worth. However, that is it for this video, guys, so thank you very much for watching. Next week, if you have a rivalry that you would like to see us kind of look at and try and answer, and without annoying anybody, which is kind of quite tricky, we will do that. However, until next time, goodbye.